Wanderers, welcome to the Wondering Dutchmen podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by our buddy Matt Krieg of Krieg Insurance. February is the month of love. If you don't believe us, go ahead and Google it. Google will always tell you the truth. Speaking of love, let's talk about the loved ones in your life. Have you sat down with a life insurance professional to discuss your life insurance coverage? A better question may even be, do you have life insurance? That is where our trusted friend, Matt Krieg of Krieg Insurance comes in. Located in the heart of Huntingburg, Matt is ready to assist you in protecting your family, protecting your assets, and protecting your family's future needs by finding the right life insurance and right life insurance amounts that you need. Life insurance shouldn't be complicated, and it also shouldn't be bought over the internet. Give Matt a call today and don't hesitate, because we can't predict the future, but we can try and protect those we love.
The Wondering Dutchmen podcast.
Where none of us are Dutch, but we all live in Holland, Indiana. Join us where we talk about what we all wonder about. This is the Wondering Dutchmen podcast coming to you from Smokers Lounge.
The Wondering Dutchmen. Yeah, yeah. The Wondering Dutchmen.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Wondering Dutchman podcast, coming to you from Smokers Lounge. Today's episode and all episodes in the month of February are brought to you by Krieg Insurance and our buddy, Matt Krieg. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Esquire, and as always, I'm joined at the table. This beautiful executive conference table. Very beautiful, very nice. It is great.
The best table that anybody's ever seen.
It's huge. Huge table.
Great table, by the way.
And some would say that the people sitting behind the table are huge. But that's okay. We're working on it. Far into the corner, wearing the rose-colored glasses. You might know him as David Allen Smoker. We know him as Brother Dave and Old Smoke Dragon by way of Richmond, Indiana. And the fine owner of Smokers Lounge. When the light's always on, go ahead and stop on by. It is our buddy, Smoke.
Hey.
Sitting here to my right. Is a man that Mitchell Carter once said was a tri-state treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Little did we know that he really is a tri-state treasure. There's not many people you can't talk to in this area that doesn't know this man. He's the pride of Holland, Indiana. Yeah, we may have Olympian hopefuls, Indiana Basketball Hall of Famers, probably a future big leaguer this year, but we also got Big Mace. It is our buddy, the big fella himself, Zachary David Masoner.
Thanks for that.
Little pump up there.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah, you know,
Hey,
I mean,
guys.
just doing my part.
Hey, guys.
We are here in the lounge on what is a very rainy night, but that's okay because it's not snow.
Because I love a rainy night. And I love a rainy night. There it is.
There we go. Trying to lift the spirits here on a rainy night. Just know that it's going to be 60, and not a month ago it was negative something. So you got to take the good with the bad.
That's right. Wild.
So here we are in the lounge. Hopefully you enjoyed Wednesday's episode. We're back here on a Friday. Well, depending on when you listen to it, we come out on a Friday. For those of you, probably 25 or 30 diehards that listen before you go to work on Friday morning, we appreciate you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Have a good
And yeah, have a great day. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Be smart. Keep your stick on the ice, as we like to tell you. But
Let's do it.
fellas, I ran into super fan Corky Schmidt this week.
All right.
Got to work on a Monday morning, feeling frisky. Thought it's going to be a good day. Going to get to the desk, get a lot of work done. And Corky come walking down the hallway. We proceeded to talk for the next 45 minutes.
It's been a while.
Good thing I'm salary, but he wanted to tell me, he wanted me to tell you boys hello.
He needs to come sit in on one of these.
He does, but he's a busy man. He's traveling all over the great state of Indiana.
Yeah, he is.
And he said he's working on some questions and he had all kinds of stuff, but he still listens. Probably, depending on his driving schedule, he'll sometimes wait to Friday's show so he can watch Wednesday and Friday at the same time.
Nice. Good plan.
But he wanted me to tell you guys hi. Corky, shout out to you, buddy. It's always good to see you. Always good to see that smiling face of yours. That guy, he has no bad days, I don't think.
Nah.
I think he's only a good days only guy.
Too blessed to be stressed.
I think he lives by that motto.
If we ever figure out a Dutchman Invitational, he'd have to be.
Well, I mean,
sure.
He
It's
was
our
on the links today that we won the last tournament we were invited.
Oh yeah.
He was?
Just randomly, yeah. He was just out there. We seen him on one of the greens. I don't know.
Huh.
I mean, we'd been drinking.
Was that
I don't remember that.
pre 5 gallon bucket of Bloody Mary or post 5 gallon bucket of Bloody Mary?
Post.
Ooh, hey.
Yeah, I still have some fans that talk about our day out there at Pride's Creek when yours truly and our buddy Teddy Hoops dominated the field of the Velpin Disposal Open, which last champions of it. So, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't get to defend our title.
We won the Farewell Tour.
Yeah, and hopefully our friends at Huntingburg Country Club, we can come together on something. Maybe do something,
Oh, yeah.
figure out something. But
Oh, yeah.
because we got something in the works right now that gonna surprise some people.
Fair amount of beer.
Well, that's up to this guy. I'm not in charge of that part. I got enough on my plate. But
I just meant we should have a fair amount of beer.
oh yeah, we will. Oh, I thought you meant like a T-shirt.
I bet people would like that T-shirt too.
Yeah, and it's sexual. It's situational.
Ooh.
Depends on the beers, I guess.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's true. But speaking of,
It's sexual.
it's sexual.
Sweet.
Fair amount of beer, and then on the back, it's sexual. Sometimes here on Friday, because we already told you about our week on Wednesday, we scour the interwebs for some things. Did you see the 500-pound lady suing Lyft for discrimination?
I want to know what kind of car it was. I haven't seen the brand, the make. Like it was probably a smart car. You remember the little cracker box?
Yeah. I think that
Fiat
guy's
500
exact words
coupe.
were, "My tires won't be able to hold you, ma'am."
Oh no shit.
Yeah, I think because it was either she recorded it or he recorded it. But the two lawyers that are suing Lyft, God bless them, they're trying
Little
to
white guys.
They're what's that?
The little white guys in
Yeah.
striped suits.
They're trying to make a buck, and I can appreciate that because I had to go out there and hustle and defend those of this county and the surrounding counties. But yeah, I don't know that the driver did anything that would be like discriminatory on Lyft's part. But if I would imagine this guy's driving for Lyft, he doesn't have a ton of cash. And there's rule number 1 you learn like day 2 of law school is you sue the people with more
The money.
cash behind the name. Yeah, don't go chasing empty waterfalls kind of deal. And
Nice TLC group.
yeah, and it's funny because
Good pull. Good pull.
this lady, I mean, she's legitimately like 500 plus pounds.
Did you see the video where she was trying to twerk at a concert and fell over?
I sent that to us.
You
Oh, is
did.
that-
That was her? That's the same one?
Yes. She's a Detroit rapper.
Waiting to find out it wasn't
no.
a car. She was trying to get in the back of one of those 3-wheeled bicycles, in downtown Indy.
Guys that are driving riding a rickshaw.
Plus
he's
size
like,
rapper sues
Some
Lyft, claiming
85-pound
driver
dude.
canceled ride over her weight. "Quote unquote, you're going to burst my tires."
That's a huge bitch.
"Oh, freak." Yeah.
Are we gonna
Oh,
get
boy.
sued now?
Why?
No.
It's allegedly. Allegedly, God, take a stab at that one. DAJUA.
Dajwa?
Deja.
Dodgwa?
Deja. It's probably Deja.
Probably big as a Dodgwa. Blanding, allegedly, also known as Dank DeMoss,
Hadn't heard of her in the rap
claimed
game.
she was trying to get a Detroit Lions watch party when her Lyft driver refused her service, saying she wouldn't fit in his sedan. Oh, he was driving a sedan.
The old Taurus. He didn't have to help it get out
Honda
of the back.
Civic. It was a Honda
Good
Civic is what
God.
it was, probably.
Oh no.
I saw that story, and being
She obviously ain't got no money because look at the Kentucky waterfall on one of her
That's
attorneys.
that same skinny
Yeah.
white.
Good grief.
they the wild day 3 in law school, and maybe these guys
Day 3 in
didn't go to this, is if it doesn't pass like the smell test. But yeah, it's
That's awful.
it's interesting.
Well, she's a POS, just
Yeah.
like everybody.
Person of size.
Yeah.
We just want to
I
make that
wouldn't
clear.
sue somebody if they're like, listen, fellas, like if the 3 of us were trying to get a Uber You know,
Yeah, like
some dude pulls up.
you ought to know if you're getting a lift and you're a, like for me, there is no way in the world, even if I was by myself, that I wouldn't select XL.
Well, and I think that's
where
what this
it's like
guy
a-
told him
like
was
a
like, you
van
need a
or-
Lyft XL. Like, I don't know if Lyft calls it a Lyft XL. Uber does.
Uber does, yeah.
But he's like, this ain't going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not going to happen. I don't know what you can do.
Well, hopefully he
out.
can countersue for
defamation.
and lost wages because Lyft's probably going to let him go now.
Well, but he's independent contractor, right?
Yeah, but they don't have to endorse him, I don't think, to be on the app.
Oh.
You know what I mean? They could
Oh,
probably
that's
ban
true.
him from the.
Yeah, they would like destroy his star rating to where he's not going to be able to get very many more rides.
Well, did you see? I mean, he probably drives for Uber too.
Yeah.
He
Or
probably
maybe he'll
does.
get people like, hey, that's the dude. Hey, bro, let's just drive around and fat shame people in Detroit.
Yeah.
Hey, lady, there's a whale on your boat.
In other news and notes, and this is obviously not a laughing matter because there have been a couple die, but did you guys realize that there's a big tuberculosis outbreak in Kansas City?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I did
Like-
not.
Like Wyatt Earp tuberculosis. Didn't he die? Didn't Wyatt Earp die?
Doc Holliday
Doc
had
Holliday,
tuberculosis. I think Wyatt died pretty old of probably natural causes.
I mean, that's a wild thing. Tuberculosis in this day and age.
He's going to have to go to Arizona
How come?
because of dry
That's
heat
where you go.
help with your ailment. That's why Doc Holliday went to Tombstone.
Really?
Because it helped the dry. Because tuberculosis, isn't it kind of like a wet lung deal?
Mm.
So it dries you out. I mean, they did say that there's no threat to the general public, but that's wild to think about tuberculosis.
There's a tuberculosis, it's a sanitarium in Louisville, Kentucky. Waverly Hills. It's supposed to be haunted as shit.
Oh,
So
really?
it's not active.
No.
Yeah.
This was back in the day when TB was real bad, but they had there's like no windows. It's all open air. They say that. I guess that was a thing for
How is it open air if there's no windows?
Well, like there was, I'll show you a photo of it.
Oh, there was no glass. There was windows, but there was portholes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, and I guess it's just a
Louisville seems like a cold area to be having no.
Yeah, you
glass
wouldn't
and
want
damp there.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a
maybe
river
they
city.
had windows. They would just open them in the summer and spring or some shit.
So like any building with a window.
Shut up, David. You know what I'm trying to say.
So any
Like-
other house
like-
that's created to
Yeah.
have anything.
Yeah.
In other headlines, a college gymnast after a celebration at the after the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl,
Oh man.
climbed a light pole, fell off, hit his back and head, and then died later.
There's another person hit by a car.
Well, did you see the gun that decided the guy?
Yeah.
the guy in the crowd of people ripped the Glock out, just fired some
So like
celebratory
over
shots.
the Middle East celebrations when they
Yeah.
shoot shots up in the air and you see all these dipshits ripping AKs and stuff like that. Well, some dumb in Philly did it too.
crowded.
It's just a
You should see
huge
the
mob
video,
of people
crowded
like,
guy, you
hey,
just
hey.
see-
All of a sudden he just reaches out with a cat. Everybody's like, ah, freaking out. Oh my God.
It's-
like,
Seems
what
like
are
a
we?
good way to get shot.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Well, why would you do I don't understand it. Like that's a wild celebratory thing. Like you
Ammo's
think,
expensive anymore.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, what's
Shit.
what's a 9mm? I mean,
We need to
assuming
start.
it's a 9mm.
We need to start investing in precious metals, and I'm not talking about gold and silver. I'm talking about lead and brass.
Hell yeah.
There you go. We could do that, but no, I like because part of my morning routine sometimes is get that first cup of coffee and just kind of scroll the interwebs, and those were a few of the headlines that stuck out to me. But that's wild, and celebratory because a few years ago when the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl,
Didn't they like rip down the light posts?
no, they greased them so they couldn't climb them.
Yeah, they did.
Like squirrel deterrent.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Do that to the old bird feeder posts.
Yeah, just grease them up. But could you imagine big fella sitting out in the text? I'm out here on 4th Street greasing up light poles because of a celebration coming.
Yeah, I don't think I would do that.
Well, you would if somebody told you
You're
to.
right.
Yeah.
Would you do it with both hands?
Yes.
It'd feel more natural when he got up to the very small tip part there that, you know. Anyways, the Super Bowl. So when you listen to this.
Oh, it'll be coming out this weekend.
Yeah. So when you listen to this on Friday the 7th, Super Bowl will be the 9th. You guys made any plans for the Super Bowl yet?
Butchering 2 steers on the 8th. So be cleaning up on Sunday and probably trying to think about sneaking in a nap. It'll be on, but I don't think. I haven't had a party. Used to have a party in poker and.
Yeah. We talked about it a couple weeks ago.
You know, bring their kids and everything. Kids all run around, sit around, play poker. Everybody just bring a crock pot or something.
Mm-hmm. Supper in the front, poker in the rear.
That's right. But I definitely won't be taking Monday off to go to the casino this year.
Yeah.
Too much going on at work.
Yeah, you're busy at work. We've done 1 year in high school through a Super Bowl party, and Mama Bear Lindemann, she went all out cooking and wings and all kinds of stuff.
God, I do love that. Dips and wings and all that stuff. It's a great.
What's your ideal Super Bowl spread?
Hot wings, an assortment of cream cheese based dips.
Mm-hmm.
Meatballs,
cocktail weenies.
Yeah, meatballs.
You gonna wrap them cocktail weenies in bacon and put a little brown sugar and let them?
No,
sounds good.
I don't like
Never
that.
That way.
I do. I mean, we make them every holiday I've ever gone to. They have them, but
jalapeno poppers.
Yeah, those are really good.
Our
a bucket of Tums.
Just reach in and grab
fair amount of beers.
Fair amount of beers.
Amount of beers.
Is our friends, our Wisconsin connection going up to Wisconsin anytime soon? Because I'd love to wrap my hands around the Danish.
Yeah.
I need to reach out. So I was buggy riding the other day and tried to swing in. Nobody was there. Then he called me back, and I missed the call. I think I was getting ready for trivia night, potentially. So, yeah, I need to circle back and touch base.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of foreign to me a little bit, but a lot of people throw pizza on the Super Bowl menu spread.
Yeah.
Now, anymore, I like pizza for if you tell everybody just to bring something to nibble on, pizza's a pretty easy way to feed a bunch, especially when there's kids.
Yeah.
I feel like the dips and the things like that only go so far when you got
40 kids.
Yeah, 10, 12, 15, 20 kids running around. Somebody's too picky.
And they'll get a whole big scoop of it and then take 3 dips and waste it all.
And the local pizza in town down there,
not bad.
The cheap and greasy's not bad, and
it'll make a turd.
You can feed a gaggle pretty cheap with them.
Yeah, cheap and greasy. I think our friends at the Gaslight, they throw a Super Bowl party, don't they?
Yeah. Supper Bowl.
That's right.
Supper Bowl.
Supper
Bowl.
Bowl.
You can't advertise Super Bowl. It's a trademark thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like March Madness. They don't like you using anything to do with March Mania, Madness, any of that kind of stuff.
March angriness.
Yeah. That's true. You could go that way.
Mm-hmm.
Also, right around the corner, speaking of the Gaslight, is Mardi Gras, an old Fat Tuesday.
I've never done anything for Mardi Gras, I don't think. I could go for.
It is good.
I love some of that Cajun cooking.
I was just
scallops.
There you go. Hell yeah, jambalaya type of. I don't know if that falls in there.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
jambalaya does. Etouffee.
What else? The country club,
red beans and rice.
Yeah,
Cajun chili.
Yeah,
fair amount of beer.
Fair amount of beer goes with everything.
Gator nuggets. Anything like
gator nuggets with like a little zesty ranch dip.
Our friends at Hopf Outdoor Power.
And they're going to bring you this next segment of your favorite podcast, The Wondering Dutchman. Spring is in the air. Finally. Maybe. We hope so. And guess what? Hopf Outdoor Power is back. They never left, but they're back with us here at The Wondering Dutchman. And they wanted us to remind you of their great selection of used and new side-by-sides and ATVs. Talk to old brother Dave. His side-by-side is ready for an oil change and probably needs some new tires. Also, spring means that grass mowing season is upon us. Don't wait until the grass is too tall. Get your mowing equipment serviced today, and now is definitely the time. Our friends at Hopf Outdoor Power have their winter service special going on now till the end of February. The winter service special includes discounted services and discounted pickup and delivery. Don't wait till the grass is knee-high. Get your mowing equipment serviced today. Big thank you to our friends at Hopf Outdoor Power. Go over there and see the fellas. It's hard to think I'll be zooming up and down the lawn in that beautiful Kubota zero turn that Jared
Spaceship.
Gress sold me a couple years ago. It does have the aftermarket lights on it. If my friends at Kubota want to come out and check it out so they can make some modifications, you could mow that son of a bitch in the darkest of nights
Hell yeah.
and see everything you want to see for sure.
See it from the Hubble telescope.
Yeah. You could also see Big Fella peeing in his front yard.
Melt
which-
your retinas from 50 yards away.
It's like a deer caught in the headlights when you do it, too. Yeah, it kind of makes a... Well, anyways, Big Fella? What do you got?
Well, so I had one topic put up, and then I switched it around, and then I did this and did that, and just really didn't fit my mood. And anyway, loud music makes me drive really fast.
You know, there's been studies done when you listen to loud music while you work out or run, you exert more effort.
I didn't have a very pleasurable experience leaving an event that I took part in. And I was a little angry, just situational anger, nothing, whatever. And I've been really stuck on 90s rock music, and I wanted to delve into that. That was another thing. Like, we're talking about some of those guys in that grunge era were potentially, in my opinion, some of the most talented singers in that genre.
I don't know if
So
it fits what you're like. Is Nirvana in that vein?
Yeah.
So, which was a question on trivia night we talked about on Wednesday's episode. Go listen. But I don't know where I saw this, but they said that like Kurt Cobain wanted people to like believe this like self-image of him, like that he kind of created, like when you think of Kurt Cobain, like what he had cultivated. But they said like his ability to write music and like do that, guy was a freaking genius. Like, I don't know where I picked that up on, but like he wanted people to think that he was this kind of grungy, like rocker thing. But
You ever heard
Genius.
of the band Silverchair?
can't say that I have.
So there's a band called Silverchair that was very prominent in that era. It's just a 90s grunge rock and roll song. But they sing a song called Tomorrow. And I was just, that song came on and I was getting on the interstate off of the Lloyd, and I just took the old white rocket or the white lightning out there and just put it on the mat. Just bobbing and weaving out of traffic and everything, and I found not intentionally, just like was listening to loud music. I was trying to get home. I had to go get Evelyn, do this, that, blah, blah, blah. And by the time I looked down, I'm running like 90 mile an hour. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? I better throttle her down a little bit before I get wound up in the pokey. But I find that loud music just makes me drive fast. And the genre of the music really differentiates my speed as well. Like if I'm listening to rap, like some real thuggish, ruggish rap, that's usually more of like a cruising speed. I don't listen to country music a lot in my car. Like I don't know. I'm kind of, break down the fourth wall here. Don't really care for it much anymore. But yeah, like that 90s genre, that grungy rock, like that's, I can really sing it. I think a lot of those songs match my range a lot, you know what I mean? So like I can kind of really lock in onto that. And then I listen to a lot of the Lithium station.
Yeah.
When I worked at the mine on satellite, Sirius XM, satellite radio, channel 34, Lithium. So it was. I mean, it goes anywhere from Pearl Jam to Stone Temple Pilots to that kind of stuff. Whatever. But I don't know. It just makes me drive fast. Is there any music that makes you drive fast?
Lots of music makes you drive fast.
Good old Hank Williams song. There's a tear.
But I couldn't think.
in my
I mean,
beer.
I wouldn't think that would make you drive fast, would it?
What, loud music?
No. Like, yeah, loud music, but like what type of loud music?
Depends on my mood.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, it's got to be in tune with the mood, but I've been like, dang, like just having a bad day, and sometimes it just feels good to let all the ponies run in the truck and,
Yeah.
take turns too fast and go, oh, that was a little sketchy one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just
But what music are you listening to? when
depends
you
on
do
the
that?
mood.
Well, for that mood, what are you listening to?
Like a kind of a down, kind of a crummy day mood, probably somewhere in there in like some 90s country or some 70s rock, somewhere in there, bluesy type of sound and stuff. Going into work in the morning, I find myself listening to more rap type music or
little pump up.
pump up type stuff. When I get out of work, I like some real sad drinking songs because by the time the day's over, I'm thinking about a fair amount of beers. And let's just be honest, any song's a drinking song as long as you got a fair amount of beers. Just all the music.
All around the map there.
Oh yeah, very much. Sounds like he's very much.
Do you
on
drive
the-
fast? You don't drive fast. You drive like an 80-year-old woman.
No, guy. Listen, I drive the speed limit 5 over. That's where I'm 5 to 7 over is where I'm at. When I'm in the car or like driving to work, I predominantly listen to podcasts. Like I don't like the most music I listen to is probably when I'm over here at Smokes. But I have gotten in the habit in the morning when I'm getting ready, I'll put on I think it's Zach Top radio on Pandora, just because I average out that each song's about 2.5, 3 minutes. So like I try to time, hey, shower, like
You got a speaker in your shower?
no, I just,
You? Yeah, like a little suction cup one,
yeah, but you're known for like 2-minute showers. So
It depends on sometimes the playlist is stretching out. I got into getting ready for trivia the other night. I took a midday shower, since we was going to do all that. And a little stretch of Gary Allen came on, and it was just, the humidity was right. My voice was, I don't know, I imagine the neighbors heard me, but I was
can you imagine Dave standing there in the shower? He's done, cleaned everything, just drinking beer, listening to songs.
Do you drink beer in the shower? Oh, man,
I love shower
I
beers.
love shower beers too. I
Never had a
have
shower
a
beer.
cup holder for shower beers. What?
You've never had a beer in the shower?
Oh man.
But I'm normally not.
In the
Like
shower that
I'm a
long?
morning shower for sure. Like every day before work, so I'm not going to drink a beer then. If not, I'm normally hopping in
Loser.
the shower right before bed, and I'm just
Yeah.
beyond the beers at that point in time.
I will say, back in my previous life as a knuckle dragging, briefcase carrying defense attorney, that Thursday afternoon trip home or Friday early afternoon trip home from Spencer County, I would, on a nice sunny day when I'm in my feels, put the windows down. Just because I had Sirius in the old Legal Beagle because I was in it all the time driving all over God's green earth. I'd find, if the blues channel was hitting, I'd go there.
I just roll my window down and crank OAR as loud as it would go.
That's not unfair. I mean, that's not wrong, but
That's
I mean, I
Crazy
enjoy
game
that.
of poker has never not got me fired up.
Yeah. A live version, the Madison Square Garden.
Crazy game of poker, that'll get you fired
That's
up.
a good song. But yeah, I mean, that's where it's at. But nowadays, like so in tune with in the podcast world, like it just kind of, and sometimes like you guys are not going to be surprised by this, but if I've got a lot on my mind, sometimes I just drive in silence. And that's shocker. I know it's not going to surprise you at all.
I sometimes back in the day when I was running heavy equipment, there'd be times where I would go hours with no radio or nothing on, just a man and his
Listening
thoughts.
to the tracks.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Yeah, you just zone out and
Well,
get to
like how
thinking on
people do
something.
like a lot of people write down their thoughts or what they're working through or this, that, and another. I don't do that. Like for me, it all goes on in my brain. So if I can sit there in the truck and just hear the tires just kind of humming as I cruise along, it just helps me kind of sort through that stuff.
Well, let's shift here for just a second while we wrap this topic up before we go. And I know this is probably an opinion-based question, but let me ask you a question, both of you. I mentioned before, like I say that, my opinion, of course, I think that for the genre of music and the era that it was in, the era that it was out, the biggest accumulation or culmination of congregation of extremely talented singers, like vocal performers, whether it not just, I'm talking like the complexity of the songs, their ability to shift, key changes and, tempo changes and all these things. Like I'm really nerding out on the singing part, not necessarily instrumentals or anything like that, but what genre and era do you think has the most talented singers as far as like in a group, like like I said a while ago, I know it's a bold statement, but it may not be number one, but like I'd say top three for sure is got to be that 90s rock, like that grunge era. Lane Staley, Chris Cornell, Eddie Vedder. I mean, even though he sounds like he's got a mouthful of shit, but I like just his vocals.
I don't know. Like, if we're talking about vocals, I got to think if I'd want to listen to them if they were just singing a cappella, and I don't know that I would for a lot of those folks,
Right.
Because they got to have something in the background to weigh them down. But I think feel like 90s country had a lot of folks that could really carry a tune well. You get into the 60s and 70s rock thing in there.
Yeah, that's
pretty good. Then
that's
you
where I
go
was-
back in the 50s and 60s, and some of those guys like
Nat King Cole and Bing
yeah,
Crosby and those guys.
Bean
Yeah, those
Snyder,
fuckers
all
could
those
sing.
guys,
Yeah.
they could really carry a tune pretty
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. You weigh in on the topic?
I would have to probably be in that, because I was thinking in that like 60s and 70s era, like Dave was talking about. And so but then I was thinking like in that era, do you know Jimi Hendrix as a vocalist or do you know him as a guitar player? You know what I mean? I think that's where you got to go
Tough spot.
back a little bit further to where Dave was talking about some of those guys in the 50s and early 60s where, and I think you have to really look at an era where you didn't have the technology to make them sound good.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people nowadays that, if you've ever heard, you can go on YouTube, you can find it like Britney Spears, like the in-ear sound and listen to her. Maybe Britney's not I think it is her, but some of them, like it sounds terrible. And you're like, oh gosh. But then you can kind of hear the concert sound that's coming out in the back and you're like, they've fine-tuned that to a T. So you get, some of those classic, I'm thinking some of those old crooners, like, like Al Green, Otis Redding, some of those guys that had that deep kind of baritone smooth voice where they could sing them love-making songs like that. Those guys.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
So
Good talk. Like
Yeah.
it.
just be careful if you're listening to loud music because you're going to drive fast.
Yeah. No shit.
And you don't want to get in trouble with old Johnny Law.
You don't get your speeding ticket.
So this topic was born out of when Janelle and I first moved into our house. And we had no curtains and no drapes or anything like that. And so what I was wondering about is there something in or around your home that kind of gives you the like heebie-jeebies or the creeps every once in a while? Because my background for that is when we first moved in, we didn't have any blinds and we didn't have any like curtains. So it would be weird knowing like if it's dark outside, somebody's could peer into your window. And like where we live, because we're back along the wood line and we're kind of out there, like it just kind of gives you that creepy feeling. But now it's our front door. It has that glass design in it. And so it gets the reflection off of like a night light in the house. And every once in a while, like before I go to bed, I always go check, make sure the door's locked, no outside lights on or whatever. And it almost looks like there's headlights coming up the driveway. And it with me every time. And it's the reflection in that thing. But I'll put my face on the like glass looking out thinking there's somebody there. And
now,
it
when
just
you do that,
creeps
you
me
shut
out.
off the inside lights. If somebody is out there, they can't see you coming to the window.
Oh, no. I just look out the window like a big dummy.
I always shut the lights off so they can't see me in case they're out there.
Yeah. But it's like, it's weird. Like, so it kind of makes it creepy. Like our home is very inviting. It's very warm. I mean, it's lived in, 3 kids, 2 dogs. Like it's, it's not a Taj Mahal of, it's clean. I mean, we keep a tight ship there, but it's just one of those features in your home where you're like, that's kind of, it can be kind of creepy sometimes, kind of eerie when it's quiet outside and still. Like, I don't know.
I don't know if I have one of those. I mean, there's things that I think are creepy, but not like a certain spot in my house. Normally it's like a sound outside, and like blind spots worry me, like places that I can't see from a window easily.
Once you get that mode in, you'll feel a lot better.
Yeah, because then I'll know.
Yeah, you'll know for sure.
We're gonna have to have a lot of subscribers.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one expensive gator pond.
Well, especially because we're heating it. The gators are probably the cheaper part. We get them from China.
I think we just go take them from Florida.
There's gators in China?
Yeah, at the
Temu plant?
one of the zoos, or when we went to the Cincinnati Zoo, they had like a Chinese Chinese alligator or crocodile.
Oh, bullshit.
Chinese tiger.
They called Asian tigers.
Yeah. Anyways.
So my current house doesn't really have anything other than the fact that we live on a dead end road in the woods. You know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of shit. Screech owls, stuff like that going to Dave's point, like where the sounds and shit like that. You go outside in the back deck in the pool in the summertime, you know what I mean? And, we're out there floating around and you hear a freaking big old owl let a screech out, what was that? Or, you hear something walking through the woods and in the
just
fall
hornet.
time in the night, crunching, just crunching, hornet out there at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning with a chainsaw, cutting trees
firewood.
down, cutting firewood, which ever since he switched jobs, he ain't been out there.
No, them early mornings.
He ain't been moonlighting much anymore, but, yeah, no, the house that I lived in before that I lived in Huntingburg, that son of a bitch was haunted as shit, which I think we talked about that a little bit.
We've dipped our toes in those waters.
We can revisit that a little while longer if we want, but I mean, yeah, we were talking about that today. As a matter of fact, me and my brother Cesar, we were talking about like, well, we were on Sycamore Street.
Okay.
And we were going behind Sycamore Street. There's an alley that runs off of 3rd and goes back around Sycamore, and it tees back into Sycamore. And some friends of ours that lived on Sycamore Street, they grew up there on the hill on the left side there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that house was haunted as shit back in the day.
Think so?
Oh, yeah. Like, according to what my buddies Jake told me and Hannah and
that crew.
Lee, the older ones too, they all could cooperate together.
Well, you remember as a kid, like basements were...
Oh, yeah.
Dark basements were the biggest.
Maxwell Mason still to this day is a big fat puss bag and won't go downstairs hardly without threatening of punishment. Like if he needs to go down there, like get your ass down there and get your laundry out of the bathroom. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, I'll get it tomorrow when I take a shower. Like, no, you go down there now, like, he's getting better, but I didn't like, I was scared of the dark. I'll tell you the most terrifying moments of my life growing up, like I'm talking feeling the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, like scared to death, walking to your tree stand in the morning, with trying not to use your flashlight like you're walking on a nice trail.
Just knowing Bigfoot could be out
And
there
then
getting ready to
bury his.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like you just click your headlamp on just long enough to make sure you can see your reflective tacks that you're going the right way. Then you shut it off and keep going. That's terrifying. I'm not a big fan of the dark. But yeah, my parents' basement always had open backed stairs.
Oh,
And my great grandma's house always had open back stairs. My current house does not have open back stairs.
has termites.
reach out and grab you.
That it did. It doesn't anymore
Yeah.
that I know of. But that would be something that's terribly creepy for me. That would be if it was in my home or around it. Would be open back stairs.
Yeah.
Can't stand that.
I don't know, the dark, that sometimes when I walk up from your house, because I don't have a fancy buggy like Dave or a golf cart, well, you have a fancy buggy too. So I walk up the driveway, and on some of them nights,
Loser.
I know the old controller of the purse strings. But there's every once in a while there in the woods, like you just feel like something's watching you, and it gets you.
When we were younger and we would go on night hikes,
It seems like a silly idea.
we would go on night hikes. And
When you were a Boy Scout,
if there were a group of people and we were walking, if you were behind the flood of the flashlight,
oh,
you know what I mean? Like the flashlight's here and we're all walking like you could, most trails you could run, the walking trails, you get too wide on or whatever like that. But if you were the last one in line and you were behind the beam of the floodlight, like that, you, whoa, get up here. Oh, hold on a minute now. You know what I mean? Like, because that there's something behind you getting ready to snatch you up and drag you in the woods and
cornfields.
eat you. You know what I mean? Like,
Cornfields.
yeah.
So like our house, it's always nice when it's beans, and it's been beans the last couple years. But when they do corn and it gets to that part where, and I think it's all about like that
The
perspective of you can't see what's coming. And you see so many movies where they're like,
Old
lying with the
Malachi.
corn. Yeah.
Have old Malachi come out and say hi to you.
Yeah. I don't know.
Did you ever watch Children of the Corn?
Once you do, Malachi.
Yeah.
I'm not a scary movie guy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not anymore.
I'm a big puss.
The,
I hate them.
When I was a kid, the first home I have the recollection of is on Cherry Street, right across from the park.
Mm-hmm.
And we were on Cherry Street for a while, and then Mom and Dad had bought property out on 500 West, and where they were, would end up building, and that's where we spent the most of our childhood. But there was a hot stretch there. That house on the corner of First and
It goes Cherry, Argem, Washington, Van Buren.
Van Buren. Yeah, so it was on First and Buren. That old house right there.
Mhm.
So we lived in there for a hot minute.
Oh, really?
And it had old school, and I'm just trying to remember this from being a kid, but old school wood floors.
Mm-hmm.
And there'd be times like I can remember as
Boards
a kid, you're
creaking and
laying in
shit.
bed,
Ooh.
and you think somebody's walking up and down the hallway, and nobody's awake.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in aliens, but I believe in ghosts.
What if they're the same thing?
No chance. Brother Elon would tell us.
That house in Huntingburg was haunted as hell, man. I'm talking shit go flying off the counter while we're sitting there in the living room. Sink turn off and on by itself. Doors lock. A lot of weird shit. Yeah. I don't know. It was up. Like we talked, she was on the verge of like calling a priest to come to the house and like, all right, I can't do this anymore.
Your house is built on.
But it was all like there was nothing harmful. Like we didn't wake up with like gouges
Blood
in our forehead and dead cats in our sinks or nothing weird, like that. And
That's like the Amityville horror house there, where
whorehouse.
no,
Ugh, spooky.
that's not in Amityville. That's Wheatland.
Horror house.
Horror.
The Amityville horror house. Gotcha.
Where they you know, they said like the house made him do that.
Yeah.
Murders and stuff. I don't know. It's crazy. But
There was a fellow that I used to work with in my previous life that lived in Daviess County, Indiana, and there was a big old monster murder back in the 30s, I think it was. We'll have to look it up, but he claims up and down that his property, he lives where that old house used to stay, and it was kind of like an stand. It was kind of like an Amityville type thing where a dude just came home, wiped out his whole squad.
Oof.
And then they ended up burying him in a fence row. And he's like, I could show you where they didn't even, like, it's just a rock. Like, they didn't even put his name on it. It was such a disgrace. And he said, oh, yeah, man, you'd be sitting out here in the middle of an afternoon and no cars going by or nothing. You can hear kids laughing and shit in the front yard and you know, stuff like that, you know, all kinds of weird shit like that. And a younger kid that was friends with this guy's daughter would go over and hang out all the time. He's like, I wouldn't spend the night there. That, no way. I don't even know how he lives there anymore. Like, it was hella haunted. I don't know. That gives me the creeps.
But it's kind of like exciting.
Well, yeah, it's
a little
very
bit.
exciting. I know, but you ain't got nothing like that? Nothing? No?
Nope. The guy that'll believe in
What a
Sasquatch,
Fuddy-duddy.
aliens coming out of the oceans.
Well, that's good because his topic ought to tie right into this one.
Be great. But before we get there, it's time for a quick pause for the cause. Brought to you by LC Lawn Care and Pressure Washing.
Our buddy Logan Clark doesn't just hang Christmas lights. He owns and operates LC Lawn Care and Pressure Washing. The good news is Logan has openings for lawn care in Huntingburg and Jasper areas. The better news, Logan is doing pressure washing not only in DuBois County, but also in the counties that surround DuBois County. Everyone is busier now than ever, whether it's getting on your porches and patios and decks cleaned up and ready for better weather or keeping the yard nice and trimmed. Logan is ready for you. But don't wait, his schedule is filling up fast.
All right, Brother Dave, you're getting too old for this shit.
Yep. So I wanted all the snow and the ice, and I got it. And we've been talking about it on the show for 3 weeks, but I was cooped up all week with Wild Bill. He wasn't so wild. He was Mild Bill, and he just didn't want to get out of bed. He had a fever. His fever finally broke, I guess. When is it? Late Tuesday. But the school thing is 24 hours fever-free. So we had to stay home Wednesday. And so I got done with work. Meetings got done by 3:30. It was kind of an early day for what it has been lately. It was sunny outside. I told Wild Bill, I was like, Wild Bill, get your sweatshirt on. You need some fresh air. Now you're feeling better. And so do I. So I come out here to the shop because I still had to clean up from trivia night.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's a nice day. I'm going to get that done. So I came out here and I'm walking towards the door like I've done a million times. And I hit that ice that's outside the door. And I did the old shuffle.
Yeah,
Now,
shuffle.
I thought that my subscription had run out, but I was not in video of the Ring camera. But I was close enough to set off the motion so it recorded the noise.
Oh.
But you hear and then a long string of obscenities, and then more groaning, and then the door slam, and then more.
We're going to need to hear that as soon as we're done.
Yeah.
But I sat out here, and I got thinking, I was like, is that Danny Glover, I guess, in Lethal Weapon? And I'm getting too old for this shit. Like, I've fallen lots of times, but like I went to urgent care today because there's a hitch in my shoulder that I ain't never had, but I'm 40 years old and 315 pounds all on the shoulder on the ice, and I'm sore today from it. All sorts of things cracked.
I tore my MCL on the ice one time, or my meniscus rather. I tore a meniscus on an ice patch before.
It's
It was rough.
It's
It was
legitimate
not
concerns.
good.
I'll say that. So I've been battling a little bit of some shoulder tightness for a while. And I went and seen our buddy up there, Teresa Treader. And she's been working me out a little bit, shoulder, trying to get it unlocked. But I tell you what, those folks, so I'm not a big, like the whole neck cracking chiropractor thing, not my cup of tea. I've never had it done. Like I'm just gonna fully state I've never had it done. I know there's a lot of people that enjoy going to it, but it's not my cup of tea.
Like an adjustment. That's what you're calling it?
Yeah.
Like you're cracking where they
Chiropractic
care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you get into some of those, like for her, like it's not just like a, hey, I'm just going to give you a massage. Like you'd go somewhere, like she's finding where it's tight. We're moving it. We're stretching it. We're doing that stuff.
PT.
And I'm all for it because it's been 2 weeks and this is the best it's felt since I did whatever I did.
Imagine that you've got 2 back straps running up each side of your spine.
because you do.
Yeah. You do.
My right one, about mid back, not mid, upper back, my right side, I feel like currently, as we speak, I feel like someone's got a knife cramming it in the back of me.
Like in your rhomboid, I got a stretch for you.
I don't know what that means.
Like, is it?
Oh, yeah.
I got a stretch for you there, big guy. It's going to help you out a lot.
So I can't turn my neck. Like I can look at Dave just fine, but when I go to look at you, like it's pretty rough. But then if I put my head down and I'm turning, oh goddamn, like it's rough. And we poured 60 yards of concrete Wednesday morning, and
That'll get you feeling good.
kind of had to work a little bit for the first time since the snow apocalypse and all that Dave really.
Dave, I saw our buddy here at More for Less. I was in getting milk and he was
pretty
getting
banged up.
groceries, and he just shuffled his feet with his cart, and you would have thought, guy's been through the ringer today.
This guy's 86 years
Yeah.
old. Like, look at it.
And Papaw was getting his groceries.
It was
there.
bad. Like I mean, I still haven't really fully recovered, like my neck wise, but bending over and raking and everything. Yeah, you know what I mean. You just get like a little hitch in your giddy up, and I'm not old at all. You know what I mean. Like there's older dudes out there. There's older guys that I work with at the city could run circles around my big ass, but that whole falling stuff, yeah. Like,
Well, and I got 4 weeks of butchering coming up, which is not like hard work. Like you're not running around, but you're on your feet. I mean, you're lifting a lot of weight over the time, and I'm normally pretty zapped by the end of that. And that's why I went to urgent care. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm not going to make it. Like I'm going to end up just having to put a whole side of beef in the freezer, like bone and all, because I ain't going to be able to get this work through. But I think I might have to start watching my Step Boys. I've fallen before, but that was something different.
yeah.
Well,
The deck was stacked against you because, and I'm not saying it was negligence on your part, but there was several people that have fallen there.
that downhill slope you got there is a little
that's
bit.
what got me.
Yeah, it's a little tough. I would say
What kind of footwear were you wearing?
Crocs, because you could see them in the video fly off.
My pull-on boots.
Really? Well, they're slick on the bottom anyway.
Yeah, they don't got like a bunch of grippy tread or nothing, but
Yeah.
I mean, Dave, I hate to point out the obvious. You said it earlier. You wanted this winter. You got it. And everybody else that's been cursing you that listens to this show.
Karma's a bitch.
I want to know how many people. It was 4:00. Like the video was like 4:05.
How many people were ecstatic?
Watch me do the daggone obesity on ice out there from the highway on their drive home from work. But because there's cars just zipping by, the video you just see them all like one of these sons of bitches is gonna say,
Just
hey,
happened to be gawking up here. Holy shit! You see that?
He's down.
Wow!
Gets out his phone. I saw some fat bastard slip on the ice. You wouldn't believe it.
Thing is, I think I elevated. Like I went up before I went down.
I think what was
Looney Tunes.
Yeah, well,
I just Looney Tuned myself walking into the shop.
see if we can find that there.
MF or something. Boys, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Like, it was bad.
Let's see here.
Shit.
Yeah, I gotta find it.
Yeah.
We text a lot. It's
Yeah.
hard to find anything.
Well,
I fell.
yeah, here it is. Sake, I'm 40. I'm 315 pounds, and I just did the Looney Tunes. Feet above my head, ice slip and fall. Ice slip and fall, and I might be dying now. Y'all might be on your own. Motherfucker, this year better start turning around now. That is all. My everything hurts, and then I won't say that other part.
Yeah.
And you don't break your neck. He's already laying on the ice.
I folded. I fall all the time. Like I fell down. I fall at work a lot, tripping over shit. What the hell was it?
Largest work comp claims in most places is
Slip, trips, and falls.
I was running. Well, that's how I blew my leg out. Was I fell, but running the bull float. You know, and you're walking the float pole backwards, and you trip over the water bucket or some stupid shit, bust your ass, and there you go. You know, I mean, just I do it all the time.
I did.
Fat klutz.
We were at it was baseball. I think it was last year, and this was when I was going through. Playing basketball at my size is probably not a good idea, but I still do it. My knees don't thank me. But it was at baseball, and my legs were a little ginger because I had my foot issue, and I'd gotten over my foot issue, and I went back to playing, and my knees were bad again. And I was walking backwards, talking to one of the outfielders, and totally ate it on second base, like laying in the dirt at Southside Park. And one of the kids was like, Coach, Coach, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm good, but there's nothing like bringing you back down to earth is stumbling over second base.
Well, last summer I was excited to be leaving work, or for what I don't know what I was excited for, but it was nice out, and I remember doing a heel click heading towards the truck.
Oh bullshit! A heel click?
You jump up and click your heels together.
You ain't jumping nowhere.
I do it all the time. If I get real excited about something.
I've never seen you do that.
If your shoulder wasn't all stoved up, I'd ask you to heel click right now, you lying sucker.
Well, I tried to do it leaving work, though, this last summer, and I was closer to the curb than I thought. And I about fell down right in front of a car coming by. It was not good.
How'd Dave get ran over? Well, ma'am, I know you're traumatized right now because you just killed this guy, but can you tell us what happened?
Well,
yeah, the big son of a bitch comes walking out of the door. He does a heel click right next to the road, trips, falls. There's nothing I can do.
tries to do some river dance looking heel click.
You know, he was kind of a ginger looking bastard.
You ever seen that band called Stomp?
Yeah, it's
Oh man,
that's a tough spot. But yeah, there's a lot of things like, you know, because your thing is getting too old for the shit, and there's a lot of things where it's, you know, like the late nights start creeping up, and you know, partaking in beverages. You're like,
my hangovers anymore are lethal. Like
I somehow lucked out after trivia night. The warden was in awful shape. No, I didn't hit a lick all day.
yeah.
But I slept in till 10 or 10:30, and I got up, and she was not ready to get up, so I just snuck out to the living room, grabbed my book,
Yeah.
and I sat on the couch all day.
Yeah.
yeah, it's and you got to take time. Our bodies are temples, and you got some of ours looks more like shanty shacks, and some of them are like Taj Mahals. But we gotta.
George Jones got a song about that. Him and Confederate Railroad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. So, Brother Dave, we're glad you're okay. They always say the second and third day are the worst. So I look forward to the text tomorrow morning when you can't get out of bed and you're calling us to come help. But I don't get up early enough for you to make it to work on time. So just plan accordingly.
Will do.
Okay. Hey, it's time for Brado's 3 Big Things, brought to you by Merkley & Sons, the ultimate destination for meat enthusiasts. February is a big month. It may be short on a few days, but it's a big one. We've got the Super Bowl, we've got Valentine's Day, and hell, maybe even in your household, President's Day is a big deal. The good news is that when you throw that massive Super Bowl party, you can utilize those high-quality Merkley & Son meats. Whether you are going with a simple spread or something more in-depth, the fellows over there at Merkley's have got you covered. Fellas, listen up. Cook dinner for your significant other on Valentine's Day. Skip the dog and pony show that is February 14th and show off your culinary skills. Ladies, listen up. Don't waste your time. Head on over to Merkley's, do a little shopping, and make this the best Valentine's Day ever for your man. All right, fellas, here we go.
All right.
Release the files. Freaking, of course, Brado's going to be here.
I love it.
President Donald Trump fulfilling a campaign promises, giving the public access to all the federal government knows about the murders of President John F. Kennedy in 1963, as well as Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and Senator Robert F. Kennedy in 1968. Trump's new executive order does not immediately release the files, but gives the Director of National Intelligence and Attorney General 15 days to present a plan to the president for the full and complete release of records relating to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. A similar review for the MLK and RFK files is due within 45 days. 15 exclamation points. Let's go, Dutchman! On a serious note, do we actually believe anything of significance will actually be revealed? Side note, I'm going to be more interested in what actually comes out in regards to MLK and what the government had on him. Had on him.
I don't know that they're going to release everything. I think they're going to say it's a lot of everything, but I think I'm not.
It'll be just a big sham.
You'll have a healthy dose of skepticism. I can't.
That's how you're saying
You
it.
said it right.
Oh.
Skepticism.
Well, I'm self-conscious because a guy in the YouTube comments was like, "Oh, you make fun of Big Mason. You can't say this."
All that.
And I'm like, well,
That baby.
you know what?
President Donald Trump is, I don't know. He ain't gonna. The way you read it and the way he said it and everything like that, he's going to release a whole bunch of shit that's going to change the course of history. And I don't think that if anything that's in those files could potentially jeopardize national security, it's not going to be.
I mean, here's the deal. It's going to be that it was an inside job and the government did it. And I'm trying to think about who wins.
Alex Jones swears up and down that it's going to destroy the CIA.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, like it's going to destroy the CIA. They're releasing, or not only CIA, or not only JFK, but MLK and RFK. Like they're all CIA jobs, all of them, and it has to do with Kennedy's big, Democratic, all his push on the. Whatever his big push was,
one of the theories that I saw was that why people are saying the CIA perspective as it relates to JFK was that they had, was it the Bay of Pigs invasion? There was one of them that he didn't fully support it and he went against it and said, no, not going to do it. And that this was a retribution type thing. But here's the thing about it. For the average, everyday American that goes to work to provide for their family, keeps their head down, does what they're supposed to do, pays their taxes every year, goes to church on Sunday, and, does whatever that, supposed to do, it doesn't do it for me. Because in honesty, in reality of all this, what's it going to do to change anything that we don't think anyways about what the government or how some of these operators happen? That's the part I get to, because it's like, you ain't bringing JFK back,
No.
But what is the end game? Because you're not doing it because the American people don't think that it could have been an inside job. Everybody thinks it was. So what's going to happen is you're going to remove the doubt, know that we can't trust the government. So what's the end game of bringing that out now?
I guess the one big end game that you could see is that if this is an administration, and we don't talk politics until we do,
right?
But if there's going to be a new era and age of transparency, and if that's what
the censorship stuff,
if his goal, censorship and transparency are two different things, but if his end goal is there should be transparency in what our government does, because if more people knew or paid attention to what our government does, you would have a more responsive populace to voting and to who's elected and to some of these other things, then I think, albeit that's fine, because a lot of the hate they say that goes to our current president, there's a lot of other things. But one of the things you hear a lot is he's an outsider. And when you bring outsiders into the game,
he's not part of the global elite.
Well, and AOC just said it on the other day in an interview with, I don't know who she was with. If it was Jon Stewart. I think his name's Jon Stewart, right? The Daily Show, and he did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, and she said,
big time Trump hater.
We're up there. These people in Congress are doing insider trading. They're all doing it. It's where they all make millions. And it's like, point to the fact that there's apps out there and programs that track Nancy Pelosi's stock movements. Like, the salary for elected officials to our federal government is $175,000 a year.
Just talking about that last night to
And you
Neighbor
go
Love. I was
and you go there and you come out with generational wealth.
millions upon
That
millions.
it's not like you're doing a bunch of books and speaking
you-
engagements and tours.
Did you see the one? Did you see the statistic that they released yesterday about all the remote federal workers? They've got
$3 billion,
it's
10%.
$100 billion. B with a B. They said if they don't report to their offices by said day,
February 6th.
then they will no longer have their position, and that could potentially free up over $100 billion.
Well, you're
Well, they're saying
mixing
that
two
they-
things here.
They think that 10% will not come back, and that 10%, I think,
or
is like
10%
$3
will
billion.
take the resignation.
Yeah,
So they sent that resignation thing out, and basically, if you want to resign, just hit resign and hit send on your government email, and then you'll get 8 months pay and whatever it was.
Right.
But they said that move alone, if they think that they'll drop 10 to 20%, then you will save almost $1 billion.
Yeah. Crazy.
But I mean, in the big thing we just learned, we were going to spend taxpayer money, $50 million for condoms for Gaza. Riddled me that one. Yeah.
lots of rubber.
Yeah, that's
Oh
true.
shit.
But
and,
hey-
and lube.
Brado, we get it. You're going to nerd out. Maybe you can come over here to the lounge.
Yeah, we'll let him do the talking on that.
Yeah, we can, because Big Mace tried it and it didn't go well.
You were right on the money though with that Bay of Pigs things. That's one of the most prominent conspiracies.
Because it was Netflix is raising its prices after the streaming giant reported its largest ever subscriber jump. The 19 million new subscribers in the last quarter of 2024 put Netflix at 302 million globally. The company attributed the service's latest success to the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul boxing match in November, 2 live Christmas Day NFL games, and the popularity of Squid Game Season 2. The price increases announced Tuesday will see the standard monthly membership without advertisements increase from $15.49 to $17.99, while a standard account with ads will raise $1 to $7.99. Wait a minute. What am I missing here? Shouldn't an increase in subscribers lower the cost? Well, Brado, this isn't your traditional economics. Traditional economics would say yes. But in this sense, because you got more coming on board, Brado,
Well, supply and
you
demand.
raise
If
the
you're
price.
supplying something you can't get anywhere else, you get an opportunity to do that. And I've been getting a little upset about those things going up, but I was what did I look into? YouTube TV, I think.
Oh,
YouTube TV just went up.
It's wild.
But I remember back when we first moved here, we still had satellite, and that was $120 a month. You know, like
Oh,
I'm still not.
My
Spending.
parents were spending damn near double that. Like it was crazy
That's
how
because
much
you were
they're-
renting all them dirty
No
movies.
way. I hadn't lived there in 10 years. Like they're
So Cody was renting all
no,
those
he
dirty-
hadn't either. He was in
Oh.
Arkansas. But
Okay.
They have more than one TV,
their direct TV bill was
Outrageous.
insane how much
Yeah.
what they were paying.
and that's the thing.
two.
That's the
They
old-
had 2 TVs.
Yeah, we only ever had one in here in the house, and then 10 on the rest. But yeah, so we got Disney Plus, which is also Hulu and ESPN Plus, and then Netflix are the ones we.
So allegedly,
Okay.
I have a few streaming services that had been gifted to me. But other than that, I pay for Netflix, Paramount Plus, Peacock,
See, we don't have Peacock.
some of those, you know.
We've got
did
YouTube
Peacock for
TV.
football.
We got YouTube TV. We got the Hulu bundle, like Dave mentioned. And then we pay for Paramount Plus because Paw Patrol is on Paramount Plus. I want to get it back into HBO Max because I need to finish The Wire.
Now, see, we've
Sopranos.
got that, but it came with we've had AT&T since we moved down here, and then like 2 or 3 years ago, HBO Max or whatever became like a perk of AT&T.
Why don't you go ahead and share that?
I don't know if I can.
Why?
Like, there's
The
already
screen limit.
yeah, because so our cell phone. Jenna's
Listen,
cell
if you
phone
just don't want to
plan-
do it, that's fine. Dave, just say no.
Jenna's cell phone plan is us. her mom or dad, her brother, and his wife. So they've all got, like, I don't know that there's enough seats. Like, our family phone plan is
Oh,
our
that's all
5
you can.
phones, their 2 phones, and then 2 more phones.
Isn't that a big pain in the nuts?
I mean, I don't do anything with it. Like, Jenna pays the bill, and then they just pay her, and then it is what it is, and then, I don't know.
What did I miss?
Nothing.
Okay.
Just everybody on the same.
Well, Brado, you're not wrong, but when, it is what it is. First off, the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight was a scam.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 Christmas Day NFL games, you should be spending time with family anyways. And who cares about Squid Game?
Oh, shut up. They were on TV when you were at Christmas, too.
No, we didn't watch.
It was we had the Geisler family Christmas. I rode the buggy over there that day to Ferdinand, and they had them on there.
Mm-hmm.
DeepSeek. People across China are hailing the success of its homegrown tech startup DeepSeek and its founder after the company unveiled its newest artificial intelligence model, sending shockwaves through Silicon Valley and Wall Street. President Donald Trump called the breakthrough a wake-up call for America in its rivalry with China. Okay, what is DeepSeek, and should I be worried about it?
I saw it, but I haven't looked into
I haven't looked into it either. I don't know.
I know it was something about that, and it was running on the Huawei phone, which is like the big Apple competitor, but you can't get it here.
Really?
HUWEI. You can get it here, but like nobody's going to just sell it.
It's an open AI model. So would it be like ChatGPT?
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
free.
But so everybody puts their information in here and trying to track you even more. Is that what that is all about?
I'm
I don't
sure.
know.
I mean, I'm sure that's part of it. That's how.
So
AI
the
works.
DeepSeek R1 model provides responses comparable to other contemporary large language models, such as OpenAI's GPT-4o and O1. It is trained at a significant lower cost, stated at $6 million US compared to $100 million in OpenAI's GPT in 2023, and requires a tenth of the computing power of a comparable LLM. DeepSeek's AI models were developed amid United States sanctions on China for NVIDIA chips, which were intended to restrict the ability of the 2 countries to develop advanced AI systems. On January 10th, DeepSeek released its first free chatbot app based on the DeepSeek R1 model for iOS and Android. By 27th of January, DeepSeek had surpassed ChatGPT as the most downloaded free app on the iOS App Store in the United States, causing NVIDIA's share price to drop by 18%. DeepSeek's success against larger and more established rivals has been described as an upending AI, constituting the first shot at what is emerging as a global AI space race.
It's all getting the algorithm right.
Spooky.
Well,
Now, the other one that kind of goes in here is I think Google turned on their like hyper super duper
Gemini?
computer. No, they've got this computer that they turn it on, and I think it could do like complex mathematics. It would take current computers like 110 years to figure out solve the equation in like seconds. Like, it's a pretty big deal.
So the big-
Quantum. Multiple supercomputers, including quantum computers and A3 supercomputers.
So one of the big concerns is the censorship, because it is China. For example, the model refuses to answer questions about the 1989 Tiananmen Square protest and massacre, persecution of the Uyghurs, which is the Muslim minority. I think they're Muslim, right? In China.
Uyghurs?
Uyghurs.
Oh, okay.
That's Uyghurs. Comparisons between Xi Jinping and Winnie the Pooh are... That's a random one.
Xi Jinping. Is that a panda?
That's their president. And Winnie the Pooh
Oh.
are human rights in China. Regulatory punch the political.
We better
status of
shut her
Taiwan.
down. We better shut her down. We're gonna wind up on the list somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. So the one thing that I saw in this was that
It's way too out of my league.
they believe so that NVIDIA, it was because their stock dropped, that basically China's doing it to manipulate the market, that they don't like this technology isn't actually anything better. They just did it to test.
Well, if it dropped, I don't know.
But I mean, you lose 20% of $1 billion.
I mean, it's a shit ton of money.
That's a lot of money. Ain't nothing to sneeze at. Brado, you really outdone yourself this week on the three big things. Very thought-provoking. But it is time, though, for us to take one more trip around the old dinner table. The old dinner table, brought to you by our friends at Butcher and Barrel.
Butcher and Barrel, the new kid on the block. The fine dining experience right in the heart of Huntingburg. The place for hearty portions and unique cocktails. What can we say? Butcher and Barrel is the fine dining establishment that is ready to celebrate life's big moments or just a date night with the person you love. Butcher and Barrel has a unique menu from classic steaks to unique creations. And let's not forget about their craft cocktails. We're fans of eating. Look at us. But trust in the fact that the people behind Butcher and Barrel care and strive for excellence in everything they do. Make a reservation soon and tell them the Dutchman sent you.
All right, Brother Dave, what you got?
Well, watch the ice, walk like a penguin, what have you, and stay safe out there. Stay happy.
Big fella?
Yeah, I got this kind of the same thing Dave was going to say. Just watch your step, be careful, and thanks for listening. And hey, send us in some random questions again. We need some more rapid fire choice cut questions. Let's see what kind we can get. Doesn't have to be about anything. Just send us something fresh.
Big thank you to Krieg Insurance, Hopf Outdoor Power, LC Lawn Care and Pressure Washing, our buddies over at Merkley and Sons, and of course Butcher and Barrel. Excited to have them on board for February. Dave will post all their information in the description below. Check them out. Help them that help us. We appreciate them coming on board. It was funny. I ran into former Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner, fan of the show, and former Petersburg Mayor John Craig. I got my speaking engagement coming up here in a couple weeks, so I got to get into, working on that and talking about it. Of course, going to talk about the Dutchmen a little bit as we've become a Southern Indiana staple here from our little hub of the county. But kind of excited for that coming up. Always enjoy the opportunity to speak, but also it'll be interesting because it's something I've never done before, which is kind of wild to think about. But if you can do a jury trial on a major felony with 13 strangers, I think you can talk to a room full of elected and former elected officials. But it'll be kind of interesting because I'll see who John said he'd let me know kind of who's coming guest list wise, if there's going to be any notable
heavy hitters.
Yeah, which could be interesting. But looking forward to it, and really just going to talk about, why back in DuBois County in Southern Indiana. And I think that show fits this bill pretty good. But, of course, as always, we're already got the first week of February done. And with that, springtime's right around the corner. Take us out, fellas.
Dutchman out.